Simple Acre Homestead. If this is your first time visiting us, welcome. Thank you for joining us. We're happy to have you. Small update on Lily's babies. Apparently I cannot guesstimate. She had a litter and I thought maybe she had 6, maybe a little more. It turns out she had 11. We are super excited about that. And today we're going to introduce our newest addition to our homestead, and that is the QUAIL. And that is this tiny little guy and his buddies. We're going to show you how we set up for them. So follow along and we'll show you.
Good morning. Today we have welcomed some baby quail to the homestead. So I'm going to get a feeder ready so I can get the brooder set up. So what I have read and heard about quail, since this is our first time having them, is that they are messy eaters. Apparently they throw their food everywhere. And so I'm going to try modifying a feeder out of some old materials I have. You'll find a lot of what we do around the farm here, the homestead, is we try to use what we have instead of shopping for new products or going out to buy things if we can repurpose something. So this was something I had picked up a little while back, a package deal where I bought some chicken tractors and feeders. Because the quail obviously aren't very big, I'm going to take these feet off. I think the greatest invention was the screw gun. So we'll take these screws out. I may have to, we'll have to see, it might not be an issue. I might have to put a piece of tape over these holes. We can do that after. So my thought is, I've seen in some of the commercial cages, what they'll do is they'll put a little bit of a grid fencing over top of the feed so that the quail, when they grab the food and toss it around, they can't quite throw it the same way. So I'm going to take a piece of this half-inch hardware cloth. I'm going to quickly try to eyeball it. Try to cut as close to the wire as I can so we don't get sharp edges. I don't know that it has to be too fancy. Again, I haven't done this before, so this is a first try for me. So I might have to do it again, but for now, we'll just kind of wing it. Okay, so we have our piece that hopefully will sit on top here or sit down inside. And again, I might have to do some modifications, but so it looks like I might try to do is round it. So it sits a little lower. Okay, so there's the theory anyway. So whether or not it works is yet to be seen. But so the idea is we'll pour the feed in there. They go to grab the feed, instead of being able to swing it around, their beaks will be in between the hardware cloth. hopefully it'll contain it. So one more thing we have to have is they need the water. So I'll have to clean this with this waterer up. You'll see it's not as large as a chicken waterer because we don't want the quail to drown. So we'll wash these up, we'll take our feeder, we'll grab our brooder box, which we're just going to use a small tote because these birds are very small, and we'll meet you back at the incubator. Alright guys, we're back in the house, continuing this brooder setup. So on the left hand side you'll see we have an incubator set up here. This one's got some duck eggs that we're hatching, and over here on the right hand side we have some baby quail. So we'll set up this brooder. Now this is a brooder, we were going to go with a smaller setup, but decided to show you this brooder that we had made. We've made a couple, but we made this one in the spring for our chickens and for our ducks. So this is basically a clear tote that we had bought at Walmart. You'll see we put some 1/4 inch hardware cloth on it, cut out the top, put the hardware cloth on. We'll probably do a video sometime, I'm sure we'll need to make more. They're zip tied, so we'll just give this a quick wipe down. So in here we've got our heat lamp, the feeder and water, and some pine shavings. So we'll just quickly give this a wipe. It was cleaned, but it's been sitting in the garage. What I do like about the clear tote is it does make it easier to keep an eye on things. You can sit in there watching TV, whatever, you glance over, you check out your brooder, see how everything's doing. Gives a chance, it makes it easier for the kids to watch, they can learn. It's just a all around more enjoyable experience. So we'll put some shavings down. At this point I don't really know how to pick to make this. I don't want to make it too difficult for them to run around in. So I'll just do enough to cover the bottom. Alright. Let's check out these quail. So we had just a little history about this. We had made a deal with some friends of ours down the road. They have a YouTube channel as well, Good Honest Living. They were interested in some ducks. We wanted to get some quail. So we just did an egg swap, and we had some really good fortune. We had traded for 12 quail eggs, and we've had 10 hatch, so can't complain about that at all. So there is a couple eggs left in here still, so I'm going to leave them. Now I have big hands, but wow, those are tiny birds. Now these guys have been in the incubator drying, keeping warm, so we'll have to get them transferred, get the heat lamp on them so they don't get cold. And we'll just close this back up in case the other two do by chance hatch. And we'll try this feeder out that we made. They're already running around pecking at the pine shavings. And it's almost like they instinctively know they're coming running. Okay, and we have the water. So these guys are pretty small. Normally if it was chickens or ducks, I would put the water feeders up on some kind of a pedestal of some sort just so the shavings don't get knocked inside. But for now we're going to leave it right at ground level, the shavings, just so we can see how they make sure they can get a drink, and that they may or may not kick the shavings in, so we'll find out. So we'll make sure that these guys find the water. So we can, what some people do is they will take a chicken or a duck, or I'm sure even the quail, and just dip their beak in a bit. Usually once one or two of them find it, the rest will follow. But there you have it, our baby quail. Hopefully this will be a source of eggs and eventually meat for our family. And they don't take up much space, so we do have a setup in the garage that we will eventually show you as the quail graduate into it. And you can follow us along.